For this Spotlight interview series, I'd like to welcome Burkhard Hansen from Carbonlite. Well, welcome, Burkhard.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. So please introduce what it is that your business does.
Yeah, we are a purpose-driven business wanting to, with the aim to transform the construction industry. So we consider ourselves to be a transformation enabler. So what this means is that we are preparing and in developing solutions for construction companies to adopt, which will enable them to achieve much higher energy efficiency standards, much more speed on site, less waste, and overall a net positive impact on people, planet, and profits.
Fantastic.
I guess at the same time, we are a construction company. So I'm a registered builder. So we're not just putting things on the market, we're actually doing it. So we are considering ourselves a bit of a, I guess, or wanting to lead by example, actually not just trying to sell products. We are in testing and trialing and building these products, and we know that they work. So that's quite important. We found in the industry.
That's fantastic, Burkhard. And how long have you been in business for?
We're coming up to we just had 10-year anniversary actually.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Excellent. And in terms of the geographic area, what sort of geographic area? And I imagine there's probably two parts to this. One will be the supply of Carbonlite, and then the other will be in your building zone. So, what sort of geographic areas do you cover with both entities?
Yes, so we're based in Victoria, in Thomastown, so in north of Melbourne, and we have got like you mentioned, the two avenues within the business. One is called Rubik House. So this is really our own designs, the standardized designs, optimized to all perform to the passive house standard. And these are the ones that we deliver ourselves and construct for clients. We also do spec homes ourselves and take them to market as proof of concept, and then also got builders to deliver these projects for us. So issuing the license and test them, and from there on, and enabling others to do it. That's part of the transformative agenda, I guess. So that is mainly based in Victoria.
Okay.
The other avenue in the business is PanelLite, which is the manufacturing side of things. So that's where we just manufacture the high performance building shell. Again, everything designed to deliver the highest energy efficiency standard on the planet, fully glazed, insulated, and so on. That has gone out to Tasmania, New South Wales. We've had inquiries coming from SA and from Queensland. So this can go anywhere, and we'll just go where the work is, really.
Yeah, fantastic. And tell us, how did you actually get into the business in the first place?
Well, as you can probably guess from my name, I'm German. So I came over in 2011, I think it was. And I lived overseas a couple of years with my wife after traveling Australia. My wife is from Adelaide. And we came back to Australia, and I started working in the industry, and was sort of almost set back into it felt like the Wild West. I'm not trying to offend anyone here, but I was born and raised in Germany, and after school did my carpentry apprenticeship. So it's a very different setup. So you learn on day one building physics, at least the basics of it, so you can create healthy, resilient, comfortable homes. This is the baseline for a good home. And then what it ultimately looks like is irrelevant. That comes later. And then, so I've never been doing anything but healthy, resilient homes and passive house and prefabrication. So I've never really left that field. I've done this in Europe. And when I came here, I realized there's no prefab. There is no building health, there's no resilience, there's no energy efficiency. It was single glazed windows and doors, aluminium framed. It was frames built on site and put up one by one, like the Amish people, So it was so far back. So then I started digging and found that since 1990s, productivity has gone down. in the construction industry, you know, where if you compare this to technology, it's unheard of. So it became quite clear that we had to do something, and
Yep.
you know, drag the industry into the next chapter, I guess. And Carbonlite was born as a solution there, starting very small in a niche market. And we actually, there wasn't even a niche. We created the niche by deliberately making the choice that the collaboration and transformation is the agenda, not trying to sell a product. So I became the first passive house teacher and trainer in the Southern Hemisphere to then actually teach builders how to do this, and created my own competition, so to speak. But with that, we created a bigger market and more interest in it. And now all of a sudden we're seeing this, you know, all of a sudden it's 10 years in, I guess, but, you know, it takes 10 years to be overnight success, they say. You know? So, but we're seeing that there is the perfect storm that has been brewing for years with changes to the construction code and lack of skilled labor and lack of materials. There's demand for energy, more energy efficient buildings. Energy prices skyrocket. Everything has gone up. So
Yes.
it is really not just a good idea. It is absolutely crucial and necessary now. So that's what we had almost no choice but doing this.
Yes, you know, what's interesting here, Burkhard, is earlier this morning I interviewed Bo Brown from Home Energy Raters, and he was explaining how, you know, with the energy legislations that are now coming into play, that 7-star rating energies is the now the new standard. So it sounds like it's quite interesting that on the same day I'm making 2 interviews in something that's totally related.
Yeah, so, and the back in Germany, the number one rule was always reduce, produce, and then store. So you have to reduce your consumption first. And homes just simply being built well with health and comfort and resilience in mind. Energy efficiency is almost this byproduct, you know, but by building them well and creating homes that are actually good for people and provide a healthy environment, you can save up to 90% of energy. So we're building a project right now, one of the Rubik houses, a 6.6 kilowatt system, which is a relatively small solar PV system, covers you for good all year round. You have no bills. That's heating, cooling, hot water. That's all your electricity needs. Everything is electric and everything is covered. So a house operates just within its means. You know, it doesn't draw any resources from the environment. That is how we're going to have to build. There's no other way.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. And I can see fantastic opportunities right throughout the whole construction industry.
Oh, childcare, aged care, residential homes, multi-res, you name it. Like there's a huge demand for just build better and build faster.
Yeah. So in that 10 years that you've been in business then, what's been the biggest challenge that you've actually had to face?
I think to some extent, I don't want to discredit the industry here, but to some extent has been the industry itself. We're almost a victim of our own success. So the industry has seen uninterrupted growth over decades, and if we you know, there's always strong demand. The building industry contributes, what is it, like 22 billion to the Victorian economy every year, and employs 250,000 people. So it's always been very busy. And when you're busy, there is a risk that you lose the chance to actually step back and go, like, are we doing the right thing here? Are we still on track? Are we doing what we can do or what we should be doing? You know, so the industry being set in its ways and being so busy is almost the biggest challenge, because that comes then with almost a fear of change. You know, when things go well, no one wants to change everything. Why fix it when it's not broken, sort of attitude. And that's challenging. But again, we still made the decision to just not convince, just do, and follow if you like, if you choose to, but don't convince anyone. Focus on the people that want to do business with you. And we found, you know, incredible builders over the time that just were kind of looking for a solution, wanting to do better, saying, look, it's not normal that you've got mold in a house. This is harmful to the occupants. So they were, you know, aware of the liability issues there. And as soon as people demanded, the industry changes then relatively quickly in response to what the people demand, you know, similar to if you compare the Nokia to a smartphone, you know, so as soon as people found out that the smartphone is available, no one wanted the Nokia anymore, you know, just that thing, you know, and that's exactly that sort of dramatic change that we're facing and seeing now. So, or another good example I like is the story of Tesla taking on the car industry, you know, absolute giant of an industry that has been doing it really well. So there's nothing wrong, but they're doing what they're doing for many, many, many years. And all of a sudden there's dramatic change coming in, and people sometimes, or the majority is often quite fearful of change, you know, it's out of your comfort zone. It's
absolutely. Not. And look, I see this happening across a lot of different industries, even businesses, right down to business level, is that, you know, people are not taking the time out to have a bit of a helicopter look and view as to what is really going on, because sometimes you get so bogged down being busy that you can't see the forest for the trees.
That's right. Yeah.
And it is really important that every business, every industry does take time out for that. You know, let's have a good look at from a helicopter perspective.
And appreciate setbacks, you know, to appreciate some call it failure, or you can call it learning, you know. So I think that's the entrepreneurs or the CEO's main responsibility, is to pull everyone back every now and then and get them to focus on the overall and set the milestones and focus on the overall journey, you know. So, but people get too caught up on the day-to-day, then it feels like you, especially in our market, it's incredibly challenging because we're reinventing every avenue and on the process, and nothing is easy. But you know, if you step back every now and then and encourage the team as well to look back and step back and kind of look at it and go like, look, we're growing, but it might be, you know, it might be doing this. So you dip every now and then and you step back. So, but that is so necessary and so important.
Oh, look, and that's the reality of business, but providing that it's heading in the right direction.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Burkhard, what's been the biggest learning that you've had since being a business owner?
That's a good question. I think the biggest learning is that you have to be resilient. Like that, resilience is everything. Resilience and sort of that grunt eats talent for breakfast, and you just got to hang in there and just keep going, because eventually you will break through. Eventually you will go, and I think the other learning is that it almost starts with an unlearn where you've come from. So to give you an example, my son is 5 years old, right? And so he starts playing basketball, and he says, I'm going to be the best NBA player the world's ever seen. Right? No limits to his thinking. And I went, right, that's good, but be aware, like, you're going to have to grind for this. This is going to be tough, you know? And he said, no one, at 5 years old, says, no one is going to work harder than me. I'm going to be better than LeBron James. Brilliant. So, and then over time, what generally happens, if we're not careful, is that people pile on their own limitations onto your dreams and onto your ambitions. And then you kind of getting stuck. There's a risk of being stuck in some, I won't be able to achieve that kind of thinking. And, you know, you put other people's limitation on your life. So I've come from a very small town in northern Germany. You know, you are born and then you're a farmer, really. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But I had always wanted to do something bigger. Like, I wanted to find big problems and solve them. Like, I thrive on that pressure. And I'm very fortunate. So my business partner, Tom Davies, is been incredible, like just to enable you to drop limitations and think big. You know, that was one of the learnings where you kind of go like, you, an individual, regardless where they come from, who they love, what color they are, what gender they are, they can make enormous difference. They can really set millions of people in motion. And that is hard to learn, especially when you get, the older you get, the harder it gets. So you have to almost unlearn all the limitations and then relearn to think big and dream like the 5-year-old that kind of goes, I'm gonna be the best. You know, no one grows up and saying, yeah, I'm gonna be an average basketball player. There's no ambition in that, is there?
Yeah, look, I totally agree with what you're saying here. And one of the things, when I'm working with my clients, the things that I say to them, there's probably 3 key things that you need to have as a business owner. First of all is self-belief. Second is resilience. And the third one is perseverance. And if you can achieve all of those, then the sky really is the limit.
And if you're not absolutely obsessed about what you do or what you're going to do, don't do it. You know, I've watched something about there was Elon Musk on, like, don't go into business if you're not 100% sure about this. You don't want to discourage anyone, but it is not easy. It is tough. It is lonely. Get yourself ready for it. But once you're kind of in that mindset, I'm okay with that now. Like I will have to work on this on a daily basis, but I know this is part of it, and you have to just get through it. And build that resilience.
So when you say working on a daily basis, what are the things that you do that keep you inspired, keep you moving forward on that day-to-day basis?
I'm up at 4 a.m. every morning. I have made this my routine, and I believe that everything starts with a healthy body, healthy mind. So I get up, I train, I do CrossFit 6 times a week. It's become a habit that it just keeps me in a very focused mindset. And every morning I'm in the gym, and I decide for myself. It's a decision. I believe that everything starts with a decision, and I'll make the decision that today no one is going to outwork me. So that's just not going to happen. And then there's a lot of mindfulness is a big one as well. I think there's this old generation that thinks that we just work is going to get you there, or just grind and break yourself, it'll be fine. Almost like taking this like a medal of honor, saying yes, you had a burnout because you're in business. That's a good thing. It's not a good thing. Like the mindfulness I find a lot of hard work. So through meditation and just being mindful how you feel, and then it creates a very strong mind. You combine that with strong habits, because motivation comes and goes, but a habit in a routine that stays. And the other byproduct is my son sees it. He sees it that I'm up every day, so he knows that there's work involved to get wherever you want to get to. And I feel the best I've ever felt whilst I have now working the most I've ever worked in my life, because you just kind of get yourself ready for that, I guess.
Yeah, another example of leading by example.
Yeah, you just have to. I want them to see it, that it takes work, and then they just kind of, whatever you show them is normal to them.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Burkhard, if you were to start your business again, is there anything that you would do differently the next time round?
That's a good question. I think when you start again, you're not as naive anymore, which is almost a bit of a shame, because you run into this the first time, you're going like, this is going to be great, and then you just time after time you get belted and you dust yourself up and get back up. So I guess in a way, the bad things that happened to us and the poor decisions that were made, I've made them, and I own every single one of them. And they made me what I am today. So I've made brilliant decisions, I've made shocking decisions, but they all shape you. So I don't think there is much point looking back and sort of having any regrets. I I guess on a personal level, I worked insane hours, like 100-hour plus when we started the business. And then my wife and I have gone sort of through a bit of tragedy, and I've then shortly after that was diagnosed with cancer. So you get caught up in this rat race, and then it needs almost more often it needs a sort of a dramatic event to rattle the cage and realize you add a healthy layer of perspective to it.
Yeah.
And that I guess my business partner is brilliant. Again, I love this guy. He's been so good for me. He's a good friend and mentor to me. But he always said, whatever we do, it has to be fun. You know, just make sure you enjoy the ride. It is tough, it is difficult, it is challenging and punishing at times. But as long as you find spots where you can have a laugh about yourself and the situations, sometimes you're bulletproof. That's fine.
Absolutely great words of advice there. And just as a final question here, Burkhard, is what other words of wisdom would you like to share with any other aspiring or even current business owners?
Yeah, I've always been, there's two things, again, sorry to keep bringing up Tom in here, but he always says when the going gets tough, tough get going. So true. Like when that's entrepreneurs through and through, when things get difficult, that's where we accelerate. That's where we launch and go on like, right now I am sharper than I've ever been. And that works really well. And my parents always used to say, hard work works when nothing else works, right? It's just hang in there and just weather the storm, keep going, don't stop, you know, it's just to keep moving through it. And it's worked out okay so far.
Look, great words of advice there again, Burkhard. And one of the things that I'm really looking forward to is following your journey with Carbonlite. And you really are in the process of disrupting the building industry with energy efficient materials. So look forward to following that journey. And if there's any builders that are watching this video, please reach out to Burkhard Hansen at Carbonlite. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. Thanks, Phil. Thanks for your time.
Okay. Bye now.
See ya.